Joining us now is Laura Sweeney. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great, Donna. Thanks for having me. Great to see you.
So we got a chance to meet at the Maiden Huntington Festival.
Yes.
You were winner, chicken dinner. What was that experience like for you?
It was great. I mean, it was the first year Huntington had the Maiden Huntington Film Festival, and my short film, Across, we actually won Best Short Drama. So it was a great experience, great festival, great people, lots of industry there. So I hope to see that event go on and on for years to come.
What was Across? What was the premise for that?
So Across is a historical drama. It takes place in 1949, and it's about 4 World War II widows who are very young after the war ends, moving forward with their lives. So, yeah.
Were they friends before, and they just so happened to lose all for their husbands?
Yeah,
that's so tragic.
Yes, and the story takes place on the eve of one of the younger sisters of these 3 widows. It's actually 3 widows and a younger sister, and she's going to be married the next day. So it's really the first life event post-war where they all need to move forward and be strong. And they're 2 sisters, and a corrosive secret from the past reemerges that they need to deal with in order to move on.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What made you get into this field? I mean, you're a writer, director, actor, you do all of it.
Yes, I mean, I've been making creative projects since I was a very small child. I guess I've just always been writing. It's my way of coping with life and understanding the world. Always been on stage, making films. I just like making things, and they come to me. Ideas just come. And then I guess what's always changing is more resources, better people, better, it just keeps growing. I keep making more things. Yes.
What are you making now?
I've just finished my first documentary project, actually, called Tiny Movements, it's a very serious piece about a survivor of domestic violence who got out, who is a modern dancer. And she started this really interesting project where she danced in her kitchen every day and filmed it and put it on Instagram. She did it every night for 3 years straight. So I made a documentary, and it's an unusual story because it's about her surviving and thriving, not so much about the crime and the terribleness, but how she overcame all this. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
That's called Tiny Movements.
Tiny Movements.
Okay.
Yes.
All in all,
yes.
How many films do you have with your name in it? What are you up to now?
Well,
how many babies do you have, Laura?
That I've directed, and probably 6 or 7.
Wonderful.
But I mean, acting, writing, all told, probably around 20, something like that.
Amazing.
So, yes.
Amazing. When a project comes across your desk, right? Do you get involved in other people's projects as well?
I do. I've been starting to get hired to direct other people's projects. Yes.
Good for you.
Yeah.
What do you love best about the process?
I love best, A, the script, and B, the people, I guess I would say, is assembling the right team for the right project and, showing up and having everybody collaborate and keep it going and, the magic of that. Yeah.
What's one project you want to work on that you haven't got a chance to sink your teeth into yet?
Oh, thank you for that question.
What is it?
So
What's
I'm writing
right
the script.
there?
I'm writing the script right now, which
Okay.
is a feature film script. It's an adaptation of a book that my mom wrote, actually, about my great-grandmother Francesca, who was an Italian immigrant, called Francesca's Song. And it's
beautiful.
It's a big movie. It's a big, yes. So.
Oh my goodness.
But it's in process.
If there's a process, if there's any way that my team, people that I know could be helpful with you with that, because I love that. I love family, I love history.
Yeah.
I would be happy and honored to take a small part in that, in whatever you may need.
Wow, thank you so much.
Because it takes a village to put together a project like that,
Yeah,
right?
and there's always one project that you're like, this is the one that I must make in my lifetime, and that's definitely it. So, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It was nice to see you here. Thank you for coming to my home, and I look forward to knowing you through all the process. But congratulations once again for being an award-winning director and filmmaker. It's exciting.
Thank you so much, and it's it's great to see your show, and I'm amazed by this whole adventure here. So
it is kind of fun, right? I know someday I think we should just have a camera of what goes on behind the scenes at the Donna Drake show.
You
Maybe
should
you could
be
direct
your own
that.
guest. Yeah.
There we go, Laura. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
If you have an idea or something that is speaking to your heart, please reach out to us. We would love to help you if we can. I'm Donna Drake, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Up next, I'll be shredding with my guest.
I agreed to be in this documentary because I feel like I could lend a different perspective to it, and I want to help people however I can. And if telling my story or telling my perspective helps in some way, then mission accomplished. And I respected all the other people that I heard were in this. Just to be included in that lineup was an honor. Hey, let's get out there and make the world a better place.
Joining us now is Michael Ian Cohen, and he is the creator, founder, genius behind Humanity Stoked. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here. Yeah.
I'm surprised that we had not met before we have met. So it's nice to see you. We recently got a chance to get to know one another at Maiden Huntington Film Festival, and you won for the, what was it, documentary of the year?
Yeah, we won Best Feature Documentary in the festival. It was actually the film's 22nd win. So we had won 22 film festivals in 8 countries around the world over the last year or so.
Congratulations.
Thank
what
you so
I
much.
found fascinating as someone that's been in this business for over 2 decades, the fact that you are a novice. Like, you just decided one day you were going to wake up. It's something you always wanted to do.
That is true.
But for all intents and purposes, you had no filmmaking training or experience, and you went out and created this.
Yeah, it's fair to say not even with all intents and purposes. I literally had no film. I have not even watched a YouTube video or read a book on making a film when I started this, even though it was my dream to be a filmmaker my whole life, one of 2 big dreams that I had, and hadn't really done anything about that until I came out of a pretty horrific depression at near 50, and then decided to finally move forward and start. So yeah, I was the ultimate nobody from nowhere, as they say in the film business, that decided to make a film. The fact that it had this iconic cast and it did so well in festivals and is resonated so deeply with people around the world is astonishing on many levels.
Another astonishing fact is that you spent no money doing it. It's not like it's so. And in the list of credits, Michael Cohen, the team that you were able to put together. Also, I mean, kudos to you. The credits kept rolling, and then you had all these like cool, like little moments, vignettes, if you will, throughout the credits. But when they say it takes a village, it takes an entire globe of people to put this on, right? So tell us about it. Tell us about Humanity Stoked. What is the premise behind it, and what is the meaning? Like,
Sure.
Why did you do it?
Sure. It's a very interesting, rather unusual documentary in that very often a doc may have a large cast, but it's about a single subject matter, and we talk to a large amount of people. Or inverse, a doc may have a very small cast, and it's about a large number of subjects, and you have 1 or 2 people talking about all these things. This was a big bite. So this was a film with a cast of just over 70 iconic figures. And these, by the way, are figures from music, art, science, education, and of course, professional skateboarding, even though the entire cast all share a love of skateboarding. But it's this giant cast of 70 people, but it's also about 9 different subjects. The common thread, or the 2 common threads about the film is everyone in the cast does have a love of skateboarding, but it's not what the doc is about. The doc is about 9 subjects that really affect the human experience. So if you're a human being on Earth, I say, then yeah, there's going to be something in this film that could resonate pretty deeply with you and hopefully inspire you to think a little bit more deeply and think a little bit more openly about a lot of issues that affect us all.
It was kind of like when I was watching it, it reminded me of the United Nations and the things that are important to them, right? So what are some of the themes that you touched upon?
Sure. Well, we talk a lot about personal issues and social issues. So these are issues of, for example, mental health and depression, even suicide. We talk about issues of addiction and recovery, substance abuse. We also talk about issues of equality, whether it's racial equality or based on gender. We talk about female empowerment. We talk a lot about fear. One of the segments, one of the most important segments, I would say, and I love when people watch the film and they pick this up, is really our understanding of fear and how that affects our lives. And also, all of these other issues in the film, even one of them is external, it's environmental issues. That's because even though it's not a personal issue, we all have to share this space on Earth. And so, but all of these issues in the film, they're, if you want to think of them as problems or challenges to overcome, they're often all directly caused or indirectly caused and certainly exacerbated by fear, unchecked fear and a lack of understanding of fear. And so that's a common theme about the film and why it's so inspiring.
One of my favorite sayings, quotes, and it's on this little piece of metal, says, "What would you attempt to do if you knew you would not fail?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's at the heart of it. There's so many times, even today, Michael, that I have to check my fear at the door, because I'll be afraid, but I'll do it anyway. I'll figure it out anyway, right? But it took me a long time to get that confidence, and sometimes I still struggle with it. I'm like, I look over my shoulder, or what if this happens, or what if that happens? I also try to do the 7 Ps. Prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance, right? So when you're starting out, who were some of your early yeses that helped you with this film? Who did you reach out to, or let me rephrase this question.
Sure.
Who was your first person that said yes to you, that got you excited? That said, wow, I can't believe they said yes. Let's go with that.
Right, so the first person that agreed to be in the film that had any level of fame, this happened to be a pro skateboarder. Like I said, there are very famous artists and musicians and educators and all these people in the film. But he was a pro skater. His name is Bob Burnquist. Bob Burnquist is huge, most famously for mega ramp skating, which if you don't know what that is, for anyone watching this, Google Bob Burnquist, Dreamland, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's not the only guy that does it. Now it's become more popular, but it's insane to watch. Bob said yes before the film was even named.
Okay.
I was going to do a video called Boosted Seasons, and I reached out because I knew no one. Nobody. I had no connections to any of these worlds that I got involved in. And I reached out. This was reached out to a regular front door. We found the agent and sent an email to the agent and described the project and all its beauty and everything that it stood for. And she wrote back and she said, Bob said it sounds cool. He'd like to do it, but what's with this Boosted Seasons? Is this a commercial for boosted electric skateboards? And I panicked and I was like, oh my God, no, that's just a working title. I'm going to rename it, don't worry. And that night I went home, fired up Google and GoDaddy and looked for domain names. And I don't know how I came up with it because I love the name, Humanity Stoked. And shockingly, it was not trademarked. The website was not taken. Instagram was not taken. I literally registered it everywhere, filed for a trademark myself at home, and did it. Wrote him back the next day. Wrote the agent back, and I said, "Yeah, this is the actual title of the film."
Good for you.
Quickly redid the website, redid the graphics, all in the middle of the night. Wrote him back, and I got an email back, 2 words from Bob's agent, and it just said, it was the entire email. It just said, "Bob's in."
Perfect.
And that was it. That's how it.
Now you printed it and you framed it. It's above your bed. No.
When I eventually met Bob, I told him the story and we laughed about it. And I've always been very grateful to him. And it was a great lesson too that I've learned about the power of saying yes, because it's such an instinctual thing to protect ourselves and to say no when people ask you to do things, whether it's for money or if it's for your time or just to get involved. And Even doing a show like this, it's a great opportunity. I'm so grateful for it. But I know for a fact that you have asked people, and I'm sure some of them, without really knowing why, said no. They just were afraid. Whether they didn't really even know what they were afraid of, but there's uncertainty, and that makes people uncomfortable, and they procrastinate, and then they miss opportunities. So it's an important lesson to learn, and one I hope people get also from watching the film. One of the many inspiring lessons you could pick up from watching the documentary.
Speaking of lessons, now you have a 501c3, right? You have something that you've started that's helping people. What is that?
Sure, it's very much related to the film, and not only did I produce the entire film for free, which you mentioned earlier, so thank you. It's a massive charity endeavor. One of the reasons that I wanted to make the film for free, and I wouldn't let anyone work on it, hundreds of people, unless they agreed to do it for free, not for deferred payment, not for a back-end deal, entirely for free.
They just had to say yes. Right?
Yeah, they had to say yes. Even the many Grammy-nominated and winning musicians and the record labels, everything had to be for free. And so that the revenue that it generates in perpetuity would always go to the children's charity. The second dream that I've always had, one was to be a filmmaker, as we spoke about before, was to be a humanitarian, even though as a kid I may have not known what that label meant, what that word was. But yeah, so I started a 501c3 children's charity. We work with schools. We talk to the educators and to the kids directly, junior high, high school age, and even youth groups, about our understanding of fear and how we let fear unchecked hold us back in life, where we live these rather safe lives in these little boxes that we create for ourselves without really focusing on personal growth and pushing ourselves past what feels comfortable. So it really limits what kind of a fulfilling life we can have. And so that's why the foundation is called the WhatStopsYou.org Foundation.
WhatStopsYou.org Foundation.
Yeah, and the website, easy enough to understand, is whatstopsyou.org. And it's also, like the film, entirely done without payroll. It is a 100% volunteer-run organization. So any donations we received, not only are they tax deductible, but they go to help make a positive difference in people's lives.
And for someone to understand the complete impact that your film has, they just have to see it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show a few things from it now, but I want to tell you thank you very much for joining us. And to see the full thing, how would they do that? They can purchase a download through Amazon, or how is it available?
Sure. Well, we hope by the end of this year, by the end of 2025, to announce a major streaming deal, whether that's on Hulu or Netflix or Prime. Right now, we encourage people to please follow us on our Instagram, which is @HumanityStoked.
Okay.
Because we'll be constantly making our announcements there about streaming deals. We also have tons of clips to see on the Instagram. And the bigger of a following that we have, it also helps in marketing and securing a great distribution deal. So yeah, please follow us on Instagram, and we'll be making announcements there, hopefully very soon, about where to see the full film.
Also, maybe some independent film houses from coast to coast might be willing to. Do you know what the word four-wall means?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
make
yeah,
four-waller
sure.
for you. Only because you knew. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, but I'm thinking that there's going to be a swelling of people that are going to want to show your work. So congratulations to you.
Thank you again for the opportunity. I appreciate it so much.
You're welcome. Stay tuned for more. We've been living it up right here with Michael Ian Cohen with Humanity Stoked. Please get involved with this movement. I am, and I'm a firm believer of what they're doing. Be well. Our next guest found tremendous courage after a traumatic brain injury. Joining us now is Maurice, and he is with JM Vibes. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm well. Thank you.
We were talking a little bit before we started about traumatic brain injury.
Correct.
People I've known, people you've known. Well, the person you know is yourself.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. What happened?
I was crossing the street, and I got hit by a car and woke up 10 days later.
Okay.
And I had to drain my head because I had so much fluid in there and sustained several other injuries. But here I am.
Here you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did
Living life.
your friends and family think that you were like a goner? Did they give up on you?
The doctors, no one knew that it was going to make it, not going to make it. And
Okay.
then when they figured, all right, he's waking up, they didn't know what my recovery would be. I couldn't speak. I couldn't see well. My vision was off. I couldn't speak.
Okay.
I didn't understand what people were telling me. I would just say, okay, okay. Nurses, doctors, I would just say, okay. I didn't know what to say because I didn't know how to speak properly.
How did that impact your life?
Oh, tremendously. It's like,
Okay.
it took it to another level. It was just so impactful in so many different ways, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It just did so much to me in a positive way. It took me 4 years really to get to that point, though.
Okay.
It's just
4
been
years of recovery and
yeah.
working on
This
things.
happened on June 12th, 2020.
Okay.
So it's going to be 6 years this year, and it's been a recovery, and it's been hard. I use the word hard today. I use the word challenge most of the time.
Okay.
But it's been really, really challenging, and but here I am talking to you.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful and thankful.
You're like a walking miracle, really, if you think about it, right?
A little bit.
Yeah, you're a walking miracle. So you, I was reading and doing some of the research, and it said that somehow you, after this situation had happened and you came out of the coma, you had seen some postings of friends, right? Like through Facebook or whatever. So how did you realize that that this twist was going to happen? At what moment was that epiphany for you?
When I was in rehabilitation, at some point, my friend Julio, that's a J, he had them call me every day, day and night, afternoon. Maurice, get up, you can do it. And we have this brotherly competition between us. I know him since we were in third grade. So I was so mad at myself that I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, I couldn't do things. He was going to the beach, he was doing this, he was going running and walking and things that I used to do with him.
Yeah.
And I was upset with myself, and I said, I gotta get there, I gotta get there, I gotta get there, I gotta get there. And it's still trying to get there, do my very best in getting there. So that's how the J started, and the M obviously is Maurice.
For Maurice, for you. So it's JM vibes because you wanted to be vibing with him,
Yeah,
you wanted to be having a
exactly.
great time again.
Exactly, I want to move forward. I want to be living life. I just want to be alive. I want to be living life.
How are you doing that with your brand? You have this clothing brand now.
Correct. So the clothing brand is all sustainable organic cotton or natural cottons or natural yarns. Nothing synthetic.
Yes.
Nothing synthetic.
And
at
why
all.
is that important to your skin, as your skin being an
Because
organ?
you have what is called microplastics. So when you have a bottle like this, it's made of plastic, and the water's in there. You drink in it, but the microplastics go in there.
Okay.
When you have a plastic bottle like this, it's made of metal. You put it in, you clean it, you wash it. There's nothing there but just metal, so there's nothing. Doesn't hurt you. Same thing with fabric. It goes into your skin. You absorb it. It's not you're not eating it,
Right.
but you're still
But your-
absorbing
your
it.
pores,
and then,
through your pores.
So
Right.
it goes into your brain.
Okay.
It goes into your blood system, and it all sits in there. And I just want people to learn that how important it is to be sustainable in your fibers and your fabrics, but also in buying as much as organic as possible, not only in the foods but in your clothing, because the chemicals you use for pesticides and growing yarn, cotton, all that stuff, goes into your water. Goes into your dirt. After your dirt, it's gonna rain one day. It becomes absorbent. I'm not a climate guy, but it goes into the air, and then it transports to the next section, the next section, and it drops. We have to take care of ourselves so we can take care of others, so we take care of the earth at the same time.
Beautiful.
We need it.
You brought people here with you in the green room, right? Who'd you bring with you?
Samantha, she works with me.
Okay.
She's wonderful.
Great.
Yeah, I'm
So
very
now this
fortunate.
company, JM Vibes, what are your intentions for it this year?
My intention is to grow the company. I do a lot of donation. Last year I donated 3 bicycles, brand new bikes. I had them repainted with JM Vibes logo on it. I do several events. I do different rides, bicycle rides. Last year we did a ride from New Jersey to the Brooklyn Bridge and back. We did it for cancer survivors. I'm not a cancer survivor. I'm just a survivor. My friend, my mom was a cancer person who passed away. I have 2 friends of mine who were cancer survivors, and I did it for them. I really did it for them, Eddie and Lily. And I want to be part of giving the community. Have to build a community. Have to build a community. It's very, very key. I think it's important so we can give.
Well, congratulations on waking up.
Yeah,
You know?
thank you. Thank you so much.
Because I know it's a combination of things. It's your belief system, it's your faith, it's just, it's just everything. But I'm glad that you turned that into an epiphany of like being able to do for others, right?
You have to do for
and
others.
living your life.
It's, to do for yourself, you got to do for others at the same time. You have to take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, be kind and loving and caring and compassionate and forgiving to yourself so you can do it to others.
Well, I don't know who you were before the traumatic brain injury, but I like who you are now, Maurice.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Happiness to you always.
Thank you.
Continued
Appreciate
success.
it.
So JM Vibes. There you go.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that patience with me.
And kudos to all your friends and family.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So there you go. JM Vibes. Hopefully you wouldn't have to have the same trajectory as, as Maurice did, but live your life healthy and abundant. Be well. With us now is Dr. Andrew. How are you today?
Hi, Donna. I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. We've gotten a chance to get to know each other and kind of like share some laughs over the phone the last couple of months or whatever. And It's so nice to finally be here with you. We're going to be talking about three main things. We're going to be talking about sleep apnea, as I hide. We're going to be talking about dental implants for elderly and Invisalign.
Yep, correct.
But first of all, I want to know, what made you become a dentist?
Sure. So I always knew that I wanted to get into the medical field. Dentistry is great because it's a combination of art and science. And just to break it down on a real small scale, we pretty much either improve people's smiles and confidence or take people out of pain. And I think both of those, have great immediate and long-term results. So I love every aspect of it.
Okay, so you weren't from like a long line of dentists where they said, Andrew, you have to do this.
Yeah, my father was.
Okay.
He passed away recently. But yeah, actually it wasn't like that. And I kind of wanted to do it.
You chose it for yourself.
Yep.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep, thanks.
So you grew up the son of a dentist.
Yep.
Okay, but you chose it for yourself.
Correct.
That's
yep.
awesome.
Yeah,
a lot
thank
of times, especially in families where it is like a family tradition, a lot of times people are like, well, you're going to grow up and you're going to do this. You're going to take over the family business. You're going to do this or that. But it's nice that you chose it for yourself.
Yeah.
So you went to Rutgers, you went to NYU.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
When you finally got like the ding, you're a dentist, right?
Yep.
How did you celebrate? What was that moment like for you?
So my family and I, we went to a really nice steakhouse in the city. I love steak. So we had Kobe beef.
Nice.
There's only very few places in the nation that have true Kobe beef. Really expensive, but really good. Totally worth it. Would love to do it again at some point. Just hit the ground running right away. Most people, when they graduate, they wait till about end of August of that year. We graduate end of May to get their license. I called the state of New Jersey and told them I want to work starting yesterday. So so I started working end of June.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So I was making like a kind of a funny face about the sleep apnea. One of the things I told you is that I snore. So much so, and I live alone, so I didn't even know I snore. But my kids, if I'd go on vacation with them or whatever, they're like, "Oh, Mom." I'm like, "Really?" And I told you, like, maybe once in a while I'd have a glass of wine and it would be worse. Like my friends would be like, "Well, you could stay over, but like, and I'm like, "But what?" So everyone knew but me. Everyone knew but me. So you said now that as a dentist, you're able to sometimes help people with sleep apnea.
Yep.
What's going on with sleep apnea? Why is it so prevalent, or is it just that people know that they have it now?
So about 30 million Americans have some form of obstructive sleep apnea, but only about 20% of people that have it are actually treated.
Okay.
So the good thing is the ADA told us, because who else is looking at the airway? Who else is literally looking down your throat, in your mouth, other than us, right?
Right, it's a little punching bag in the back, the little was
all
it a
that.
Uvula rose?
You know, we're taking a look at the plumbing, seeing if there's any clogging in the plumbing, right?
Okay.
So we screen first and foremost, and there's different signs to be on the lookout for. So if we have a large tongue that's seating all the way back in the throat, you know, that's a telltale sign. If we have constricted jaws, narrow jaws, things like that, you know, there's no room for the tongue for breathing. If we see signs of mouth breathing, you know, signs of periodontal disease, grinding and clenching in a certain manner that looks like, you know, we need to open up the airway. All these things are telltale signs that maybe we do need to get sleep testing.
What about people that complain of jaw pain? Like in like this type of thing, like almost like a TMJ pain? Can that also be related to sleep apnea?
It can absolutely be related.
Okay.
Reason for that is the brain doesn't care about the jaw joint, your teeth. It cares about oxygen first and foremost. You know, you can only live a handful of minutes without oxygen. So if you're not breathing or if you're choking, what the brain can do is take your jaw and grind downward and forwards to open up the airway. In doing so, yeah, your jaw would be a little sore, but you're breathing. So it's a catch-22.
So it's like at all costs, they're going to try to, your body's going to try to
breathe and survive.
Die.
Yeah, it's survival. Yeah.
I had no idea, but you told me I stopped breathing 49 times an hour.
Yeah.
49 times an hour.
At least 10 seconds of time. Yeah.
I used to blame my bad memory on the fact that I had fallen during COVID and thought I had like a concussion still going on or whatever.
Injury, yeah.
But it could be because I have sleep apnea and cannot breathe.
Yeah, probably brain fog. You know, and it's something that we can easily help treat. Yeah, and you know, it's good to know, especially because then, you know, there's different treatment modalities. You know, one of them being oral appliance that we offer for patients.
So what is it? You have like little models here of
Yeah,
that?
absolutely.
Okay, so what do you have going on here?
So very simply, these are what's called mandibular advancement devices, and what that means is we take that lower jaw that can move and keep it from going back and collapsing.
Okay.
The tongue is connected to the lower jaw, so if we can keep it slightly open and slightly downwards, then we can actually keep that tongue from going back and choking us and, you know, getting in the way of the airway. There's different models of it. For example, this one's called a dorsal, just like how it sounds. It literally looks like a couple dorsal fins. I like this
Or like a vampire.
You can look at it like that too. You can look like that
So it's a dorsal fin. Okay, okay.
I like this one for people that grind and clench. Reason
All
for
right.
that, it allows a little bit of lateral movement to the jaw, so you're not so fixated. But sometimes in certain cases, we do want to go fixated on both sides. So this is an example of a nylon appliance that is fixated on both sides. It still gives some of that freedom of the jaw joint, so it's not as constricting, but it's a little stronger to keep that, you know, airway, you know, downwards.
And you just pop it in at night.
Yep.
Okay, just like a retainer for somebody that wore braces.
Like two retainers basically that connect. Yep.
Got it. Now, speaking of braces, you also have Invisalign. You're good at Invisalign.
Yep. We do a lot of Invisalign.
Okay, so tell us about
practice.
that. Tell us about Invisalign,
Absolutely.
which kind of works in a very similar way, right? It's just you pop it in, but it's moving your teeth.
Yeah, so it's invisible braces. So about 70 to 97% of people have some type of bite issues. Bite issues over time can lead to, well, first of all, it's hard to clean around teeth that are crowded, things like that, misaligned. So it'll be better for the gums, less prone to cavities, less prone to teeth breaking, so less fillings, crowns, you know, implants, things like that down the road, just by putting the teeth in the proper position. So here I do Invisalign. What that is we basically take these invisible clear aligners, put them on the teeth. We wear them 22 hours a day. Once we're all said and done, teeth are nice and straight. We have, you know, more expansion, so better airway, you know, more room for the tongue, better position of the teeth, less likely to break teeth, easier to clean the teeth, less likely to get cavities, things like that.
Interesting. I'm wondering why they don't use Invisalign for people that have sleep apnea, because then you could have two things at once.
So we actually do in some cases, you know, that are, you know, either approaching the mild threshold or very mild, that mild expansion of the jaws can help open up the tongue
As I'm laughing because my situation is not mild.
You're a little bit above that, yeah.
Above
We're
it.
a little beyond that. But,
Okay,
you know,
scary.
We'll still,
Okay.
you know, we'll try oral appliance and see, you know, how that fares in terms of helping you with the symptoms and whatnot.
One of the other things we were talking about was gum health, right?
Yep.
Periodontal gum disease, right?
Yep,
is
yep.
when your gum starts moving away from your teeth, which makes you have teeth loss, which makes you need implants. Okay. At what age do people start needing that? Could it be young or?
Could be young, could be older. So about 47% of the population, adult population, has some form of periodontitis, which is, you know, gum and bone loss. And this is across all nations. It's just, you know, mostly genetics. But poor oral hygiene, smoking, uncontrolled diabetes, all these things can also factor into that as well. These are things we can control as opposed to the genetic aspect.
Okay.
So with that being said, about 10% of adults over 18 in the nation have no teeth. And about
Wait, can you say that again, Doctor?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. 'Cause
absolutely.
That was shocking to me.
Yeah.
What was that? About how many?
of adults over 18,
Right.
about 10% of people have no teeth.
They lost their teeth.
Yep.
My goodness. Okay.
And about 25% of people in the age range of 65 to 74 also have no teeth. So that's a lot, 1 out of
My
4 in that age range.
Goodness. Okay.
So with that, I do recommend doing implants. They're the closest thing to natural teeth. I wouldn't wish a denture on my worst enemy.
Okay.
Something that pops in and out. Basically, an acrylic plate that seats is never going to be as comfortable or as functioning as natural teeth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes though, with gum disease also comes like a little bit of bone loss. I've
Yes.
heard, I've researched.
Yep.
Are you able to like figure out if they're a good candidate for an implant?
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
if you have to like
Yep.
do a calcium replacement or like,
So assuming, the teeth are gone or the teeth are, at the point where they're so mobile that they need to be taken out, yep, we do a CBCT scan. So it's a 3-dimensional bone scan to see exact volumes of bone. And there's different methods that we can do if, let's say, you are lacking in bone, whether it's bone grafting, doing a sinus lift, expanding the bone, densifying the bone. There's a bunch of techniques that we have.
but you can get help.
Yes, yep, absolutely,
Okay.
yep. And in terms of keeping the teeth, which is, our goal is to always try to keep our natural teeth. We're very good at, seeing early signs of these, these chronic conditions such as periodontitis, teaching you how to properly take care of it at home, and also, doing non-surgical and surgical therapy potentially in the office as well.
Now, growing up, they always said that we should brush our teeth 3 times a day. People, I don't believe that they do. I'm good for 2. I'm good in
Okay.
the morning and I'm good when I get home from work
That's
before
fair.
I go to bed, right?
Sure.
But that middle of the day kind of thing is a little difficult at times,
Yeah, I mean,
right? Even like I sometimes do buy though the little tiny like portable brushes or whatever.
Sure.
And because I talk to people, I don't want to have bad breath.
Absolutely.
So I'll do like a squirt, I'll do like a dissolve, like a breath mint, things like that. But to actually brush them, right? Do you think it's still required 3 times a day or?
At least the twice a day, morning
Okay.
and night.
Okay.
I'd say the flossing is more important because there's a lot of tooth surface that you're not getting with those toothbrush bristles.
Okay.
So that's, more important. Obviously, I'm not telling you don't brush your teeth, but if I had to pick which one's more important, I'd say the flossing.
Gotcha. I also have like, I don't know if I can say the brand name, but I have one, I have an apparatus that squirts like power washes your
Okay.
teeth with
Yeah.
water. Okay. So how do you feel about those types of things?
It's a great supplement with floss.
Yes.
It's not a substitute for floss, meaning the ideal way to use that is you floss first and then use that, like you said, like a
Wash
power
it all
wash.
off.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, what about flossing between the kind that is like waxing that you get out of the white box, or I've been using like the little free picks. Are those okay to use or not?
They're okay to use. Studies show it's more about effective technique as opposed to what you're using per
Got
se.
it.
The most important thing, here's one tooth, here's another tooth. They
Right.
make a contact point. You use floss like a squeegee, so you get a nice tight C shape all the way to the point of resistance. Squeegee up at least 3 times on the one tooth, and squeegee up 3 times on the other tooth in that contact.
Oh, you're supposed to go up?
You're supposed to go-
Are you talking about the bottom teeth?
Yeah,
Okay, bottom
yeah,
teeth you're
yep.
going up,
So
and
you're
then
going-
top teeth you're going down.
Correct. Yeah, you go to
Okay.
the point of resistance at the gum, and then you squeegee up against the tooth in a tight C shape.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not just between the teeth.
Exactly. People think it's just to get that little piece of meat
they're
out.
not doing
It's
the lean
not.
in.
No, it's like think of it like a squeegee up
Okay.
against the actual tooth surface.
Excellent. Well, you have a beautiful smile.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank
you have
you.
a beautiful smile.
Thank you.
So when somebody comes to you for the first time, right, what is that onboarding process like? They're walking through the front door and they're like, I'm here, and they're probably like a little nervous.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's very common to be, phobic and anxious when it comes to a dental visit. A lot of people either have had previous trauma or they've been avoiding going altogether and knowing, anticipating that they may need some work done. So we try to make things as comfortable as possible for our patients. So we do online forms before you even get here, so this way you don't have to worry about, any paperwork type of stuff. When you come in, our staff greets you. We give you an office tour. We show you, the staff, the office, all the technology that we have, things that can make treatment and your appointment more comfortable. And then, from there, we start with, comprehensive set of records. So we take a scan of the mouth, no radiation. It's like almost like a 3D picture of the mouth to show patients on the screen exactly what everything looks like. I'm a visual learner myself. It helps me show people and, hopefully understand, oh, okay, yeah, this is what's going on. From there, we take any x-rays that are needed, we chart the gums, and then we have, an in-depth discussion about, the patient's, chief complaint, but also other findings that we find on these records.
Now, also growing up, people would say you'd eat carrots so it would help your eyes, right? Is there anything somebody can do that actually does help your teeth?
Of course.
Okay, what are those things?
Yeah, so, obviously, like we talked about, oral hygiene is crucial. So flossing before we brushing, twice a day ideally. Our diet is a huge aspect as well. So with our diet, anything that is broken down into a carbohydrate, so simple sugar, any kind of sugar, the bacteria that causes cavities will eat, break down, and cause tooth destruction, basically. Avoiding acid exposure as much as we can, because that acid will also start to wear away the tooth structure. Doing things to keep the salivary flow. So what that means is like chewing sugar-free gum, staying well hydrated, so not just water, but electrolyte balance.
And those are helpful things.
Yes, yep.
Okay.
All these things will help, prevent things that can cause issues, such as the bacteria that causes decay.
Wonderful. And I know that you said that you love art and you love science. We were talking about 3D modeling and things like that. And I noticed you have a 3D model Yoda.
I do.
Right? So,
I do. Yep.
So Star Wars fan, right?
Yep.
So,
yep.
okay. And he kind of looks like he's a little tooth. He's really cute.
Yeah, this was the first thing I 3D printed at a course. So
excellent.
Got to do that. Yep.
Excellent. Well, may the fourth be with you all the time. It's so joyous. Like I said, I feel like I got to know you a little bit by talking to you on the phone so often. But I also thank you because had it not been our conversation, I would not have known that a dentist can help you with sleep apnea.
Yeah.
I would have not known that I actually have sleep apnea, which I do. And so you work with a company called sleeptest.com. And it was really easy, Dr. Andrew. I mean, you walked me through it. Your team was wonderful. I was able to I wore the ring at night, and I put it on my thumb. I'm a big follow the directions kind of girl.
Good.
Right?
That's all we can ask.
I read it. I watched the YouTube video. I watched it again. And I'm like, okay, I got to do it. I got to do it right. Yep. And then I sent it up.
Yep.
And they were able to get the results back within a few days, 3 to 5 days. So I will be talking to you. Let me just look at my audience for a second. And I will be walking you through this journey because if I need to go through it, possibly you have to go through it. A lot of my high school friends are wearing CPAP machines. I'm going to try the dental apparatus first and we'll see how it goes. But I'm Donna Drake. I've been visiting with the wonderful Dr. Andrew Adly. Be well.
Thank you.
Joining us now is Monica Bates, and we're going to be talking about bark and style. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, thank you so much. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Who's your friend?
So this is my dog and muse behind my brand. His name is Harry. He's my miniature poodle.
Lovely. How long has Harry been in your family?
For a little bit over 2.5 years. He's my first dog ever.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What was it about Harry and the love of Harry that made your subscription box company come to life?
So Harry is a little fashionista. Since I've had him, he's had such a large personality, such a small package, but such a large personality. And I have a fashion design background. I've worked in the fashion design industry for a little over 7 years. And so I wanted to combine my love of fashion with my love of dressing dogs, which Harry loves. He's wearing a little polo and Bark and Style piece today. And that's how Bark and Style kind of came to life.
Lovely. Now, in the subscription box, is it only just the clothing or do you also have like accessories and things?
So it's focused. I have an example here that I brought today. So we focus on 4 premium accessory and apparel pieces, and then 1 item that is bonding the human and your dog.
Oh, interesting. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I would love to show like an example of like what you might expect in a Barkin style box. Yeah, so we have a pet-friendly candle, and this is the item. It's all natural ingredients. I partnered with a boutique, and then we have a bandana. So what you might expect is like little accessory and apparel pieces that tie back to the item. We have a leash, we have a collar, and then we have a reversible rain jacket.
Oh, how cute
And
is
so-
that?
Each of the boxes feature 5 items. So as I had mentioned, 4 premium items for the dog, and then 1 item that bonds the dog and the human together.
Beautiful. Harry's so cute. Harry, get a little closer.
know,
He's so
Harry.
cute. He's so cute. So
Thank you.
how often do you, so should somebody subscribe monthly, quarterly? How often do you think that they should have a Barkin style box in their home?
So it's a quarterly seasonal box. So I wanted to focus also, I know some people live in like warmer climates, some people live in cooler climates, but I wanted to focus on 4 drops a year. So we
Okay.
have our spring box, our summer box, our fall box, and our winter box. And we really try and tailor it to the climate that you're in and also finding your dog's perfect fit. So
Yeah, speaking about perfect fit, so you have a small, medium, and large box?
we have extra small through extra large. I would love to expand into other categories, but for
Okay.
right now, that's what we are offering. Down the road, I really want to get like all the different sizes.
Beautiful. So Monica, tell me once again, what size dogs do you work with?
I work with sizes extra small through extra large.
Lovely. Well, that sounds wonderful, right? I mean,
Yes.
that sounds complete. And so there's 5 items in every box.
5 items in every box. And I also want to mention that while this is a subscription box, for those who may be new to subscriptions or aren't sure about the Barkin style subscription ready to commit, we have a starter box as well, which
Oh.
is a way to just experience the brand. So you can get 2 premium accessory pieces and then 1 piece for the human
Nice.
as a way
That's
to
very,
just
very-
try out.
So Harry, being Harry's mom has changed your life.
It has really changed my life. I think it has made me more compassionate. I've always loved animals and had like a soft spot for animals, but he is my fur child for right now. And my world very much revolves around him. The dog community has been like so welcoming to the idea of a new dog subscription box, and especially Harry, the face behind the brand.
Very sweet. And especially since you came from the fashion industry. So I like it. It's bark and
Yes.
style. A little bit of
Bark and
style.
His paw on the box, our logo, that little paw is his paw.
Sweet. Very, very sweet. Thank you for calling in today. Where are you calling in from, Monica? Where do you live?
Yes, I'm in Easton, Pennsylvania. And Barkin Style right now does not have a brick and mortar store. Everything is online.
Perfect. Well, you know what? It makes it so convenient because our show is in 30 million homes from coast to coast and in 25 countries. So it's kind of nice knowing that they don't have to walk in. Maybe they could have a pretzel and, and order something from you. But it was so nice to know that you're an online store. And I appreciate that very, very much. So good luck to you. Happy journeys.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate the support.
You're welcome. Bye, Harry. Bye, Harry. All right. So that was Monica and Harry with Barkin Style. Thanks for watching. We are in beautiful Tampa, and today we are at 360 Surgery Center. So excited to be here with Dr. Tali Arviv. Welcome to the show, but thank you for welcoming us here. A wonderful facility that you have. What made you decide to have a surgery center?
Oh, that's a great question. And I'm so glad you came.
Thank you.
I actually have a 3-location med spa, and when I realized that there's only so much we can do non-surgically, it was time to open a surgery center to accommodate those patients with trusted surgeons that we can bring in and bring the patients in and make them feel comfortable to have whatever procedure they want done. But the main reason we opened the surgery center is because we like to treat keloid patients. So it's been something that we've been doing for over 10 years. We treat patients that have keloids anywhere on the body, and we're able to deliver a service called superficial radiation therapy, which is really an important part of removing keloids.
Now, if someone doesn't know what a keloid is, what happens is when the skin heals on some textures of skin, it actually protrudes out, it bumps out. And
that's right.
Some of the images that you were showing me sometimes can be painful for patients. It's not just cosmetic. Sometimes it can affect your actual functionality.
Absolutely.
Correct? So why do they appear? Like, do you know, like, the science behind it? Like, what causes them in the first place?
Yeah.
Scar tissue, I guess,
Right.
is what it is? Okay.
It's an overgrowth of scar tissue. So it could be from just patients that are prone to getting keloids genetically. They might get a piercing, or they might have some type of trauma. You can get it just from ingrown hairs or pimples that, because of the healing process of the body, they don't heal well, and your body just continuously produces those collagen fibers, but not a nice organized collagen the way you normally see a good scar heal, right? Normally it just heals
Flat.
nice and flat. You still can see the scar, but it doesn't stick out. In keloids, those collagen fibers are bundled up and swirled up, and they're just abnormal. And that's why you have that protruding skin lesion.
Do they sometimes cause people pain? Are keloids sometimes painful, or just
Yes,
they
so
can
patients
be?
complain
Okay.
of pain, they complain of itching, even can cause tension where you have mobility restriction. We had a patient that, had a pretty bad keloid on his neck from it was like a ski accident. And he had problems mobilizing his neck. He needed to remove the keloids, do skin grafting. He was even developing some infections under there. So.
Oh my goodness. But you specialize in it. Like, you're really good at it, right?
Yes.
Like, that it's something that you take to heart. You want to help your patients, right? And you
Absolutely.
take pride in, like, the before and afters, right?
do.
It's like life-changing for a lot of people.
It
But they think, at least to my knowledge, sometimes people that I know that have had keloids, they don't know that there's anything that can be done. They just feel like, oh, it is what it is, and I'm stuck with this for the rest of my life. They don't know there's help. So that's the one particular reason, doctor, that I wanted to come down and talk to you, because I was all excited about it. I was like, wow, look at what you're able to do. I see the results, right?
Right.
What is the process? How does someone come into your surgery center specifically for keloids? Walk me through the onboarding process. What's it like?
Okay.
Do they send you a picture ahead of time and say, doctor, can you help me? Or
Absolutely.
Okay.
We get a lot of patients from all over the country. Part of the reason is not a lot of facilities offer superficial radiation therapy. So we get a call. Normally those patients can't physically come in. So we'll either set up a Zoom consult, or if they, nowadays with time, right? Time. We don't have
Yes.
time. They'll just send over an image of, hey, this is my keloid. Can this be removed? Will I be, how much is it going to cost, of course, is the main question.
Okay.
And we try to make it, of course, super affordable and help these patients out as much as we can. Some keloids are extremely complex and require our reconstructive surgeon, Dr. Abdullah, to step in. And so depending on how complex and how many keloids the patient needs to be removed, we would send them a quote based on that, and then and some financing options, of course.
Oh, that's very
and
kind.
Then if that works, then it's if they're from out of town, we expect them to stay a total of 2 nights.
Okay.
So they would come in on day 1, they would check in, we'd get them into the OR, of course, pre-op admissions, and then we would get them into the OR where we would operate. on the keloid, and then they would get bandaged up, and then the next day they would come in at a specific time to do the superficial radiation therapy.
And what is that? You have a very specialized piece of equipment. What is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the SRT device, it's kind of like doing a little x-ray, and it's very superficial. People always have this hesitation about radiation therapy, right? Oh, it's radiation, it's bad for you, right? Which, you know, we have a lead-lined room, so it's kind of like getting an x-ray, but the good thing is it's very superficial, so we're only radiating those top layers of the skin. We're not going deep into the other organs or other parts of the body.
And there's 7 layers, right? 7 layers of your skin, is that it? I
Yes.
try to remember in health class, I think of the epidermis and the, right, there's all the, right, the fascia or whatever, I don't know, but so you're going just superficially on that part.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. Just kind of into the dermis.
Okay.
Sometimes, you know, sometimes you get a little hyperpigmentation, which is something where you get a little discoloration after the treatment, kind of like getting a sunburn. But once it's fully healed and you give yourself some time to heal, you know, you have a nice, smooth, flat area of your skin that you treated, and most patients are happy. They're able to regain their confidence, because it can definitely, you know, affect your self-esteem. You're self-conscious about it.
People stare
Right.
sometimes because
Exactly.
they just don't, they don't understand, right? So, but it's more important, not just for cosmetic reasons, but also, like you said, they could be painful, they can itch, they can affect mobility. But if you just want to get it done for your own cosmetic reasons, even if it's not bothering you, go for it, right? Because there is help now.
So we can do most keloids under local anesthesia here, but there are situations where if the keloid is more complex, you might have to be under general anesthesia or IV sedation. So depending on the location and the complexity, we determine what type of anesthesia you need.
What are some of the other things besides keloids that are done in the operating room here?
Oh, we do everything from head to toe. So all cosmetic surgeries, whether it's, you know, eyelids, facelift, neck lift, we do skin reductions, we do liposuction, all the breast procedures, augmentation, lift. We do fat grafting to the breast. We get a lot of women who want to remove implants these days, tummy tucks, of course. So everything from head to toe. We actually have a great surgeon here who specializes in lipedema patients, and he has amazing results. So this is where you would do your radiation therapy. Our radiation tech will come in, she'll set you up, put everything on that you need. So if you maybe went to another surgeon and you are prone to keloids, and maybe you did your breast reduction and you have, or a tummy tuck scar, and you want to prevent that keloid from coming in, you can just get a quote for only doing the radiation therapy with us. So that way you have a nice cosmetic outcome after your cosmetic surgery.
This is Donna Drake. Happy journeys!
Take my hand, come with me, and we'll find better ways to be something much more. Live it up, live it up, live it up now.
Thanks for watching Live It Up. You can visit us at liveituptvshow.com.